Welcome to the Metal Chick Podcast. I am your hostess, Carrie Z. We are, I know it's video, right? It's bananas because it's 2024 and I should probably get with the program, right? So we have Waking the Sleeper on the line with us. I'm super excited. They are okay, I got to back up. Like I get this email and they're like, hey, would you like to have these guys on the phone, on the show? And I'm like, yeah, that's great. And I'm like, wait, I listen to these guys. I already listened to them. Hell yeah, I want to have them on the show. So I'm super excited. They're an amazing band. They're out of Kansas, sort of. We got folks in Texas. But anyway, you guys, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you guys on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
So we've got bass guitarist Will Aiken. We've got keyboardist and co-vocalist Miss Elizabeth, and of course the lovely Raven, lead vocalist. And Miss Elizabeth and Raven, you guys are sisters, right?
Yes, blood sisters. Yep.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah, I claim her. I kind of like her.
Yeah. That's good. This is going to be a great interview.
It's great though because it's like it's almost like we realize that like we're kind of like the opposite of each other. Like she's that the light, the pure, the beautiful.
With the blonde.
And I'm over here messing with a cult. No, I'm just playing. I don't really do. But the darker side. Just, yeah. So it's really the dark and light.
Totally.
Coin.
Yeah.
Well, but it does add a cool dynamic. So okay, let's back up and let's start with the origins of the band.
Okay.
So I mentioned that you guys are we've got Texas, we've got Kansas. Tell me the origins, how the band started, and why some of your band members are not in the same state as you.
Well, that would have to go back to when I first formed Waking the Sleeper in 2017, and whenever our dynamic then, the original members we had, me and Sean, which he was a part of the band as well. He had to leave for very personal reasons, but we still are great friends, and I wish him the very, very best. And he helped me write a lot of the music on the first album, The Seven Deadly Sins, and after that, it was kind of at this point, I want to move forward, and I started looking for musicians. It's not an easy task to find musicians that want to tour, travel. You can find the best musicians out there, but if they don't or can't tour or travel, then you're not really going to go very far as a band that's doing this as a career or anything like that. So I ended up finding Will through a show that we did together back in the day. He was with another band at the time, and we it just became really good friends. He's an amazing bassist, and when the time came, I reached out to him and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And then recruited him, and then talked with Beth and was like, hey, what about you coming and joining me and joining forces? Me and her have always kind of sang together, just doing karaoke, but it really came down to the timing was right for us, because I think individually we had to kind of solo do our own thing to realize that we're really good together, and that's what we're doing now. And then I found Chris, which is our drummer. He lives in Missouri, and I played a show with him as well back in the day, a few shows with him back in the day, and he's just a phenomenal drummer. And I hit him up, and he was about to literally just hang up his sticks and just not play ever again, because his band had, for like 7-8 years, had stopped playing as well, and he was just like, okay, I'm done. And then I hit him up, and he's like, okay, I guess I'm not done. So
Hilarious.
Yeah,
It was amazing because I was going to retire playing bass because I didn't want to do it anymore. And like I said, you want to do this project? I said, well, let's recruit the right people and go tour.
Yeah.
So then from there, I met, I had a friend of mine who was she was a huge influence. Her father actually was a huge influence for Rocklahoma. And that's how I met her, because I played Rocklahoma 3 years in a row. And then she introduced, I was just talking with her and saying, yeah, I think I need to find a lead guitarist. And she said, oh, well, my neighbor, I listen to him every day. He's just out there playing just all the time. And I was like, really? And she's like, he's phenomenal. So she got me in touch with him, super young. He at the time when we met him, he was 20. So, and venues that we played in, that we snuck him in. Sorry about that, but he's 21 now. Anyway, so so he's legal now. Can't do anything about it. But yeah, he's a savant. I swear to you, when I first heard him, I just like, wow, I was blown away by his skill. And then from there, we recruited our newest member, which you'll be the very first interviewer on a podcast that we've announced this with. But
Okay.
Dylan is now our newest member. He's our rhythm guitarist. So we're super excited about him too. So
Wow.
yeah, and they're and
How
Dylan,
exciting.
yeah, it's very exciting. And Dylan and Seth are like a year apart from each other. I know Seth was like, "Oh, I'm not going to be the youngest anymore." Yeah, you're still the youngest. You're a year younger. You're still the
Hilarious.
youngest.
Well, so wait, so what? All right, so why
Yeah. Okay.
add
So
another
we have me.
guitarist?
Yeah. So we've got me, Beth, and Dylan, who live here in Kansas. And then we have
Yeah.
Will, who lives in Texas. We have Seth, which is our lead guitarist, who lives in Oklahoma, and Chris lives in Missouri.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, and
How
we get
often do you
together.
guys practice?
Well, we get together once a month, and we usually take like a week or a weekend, a full weekend, and dynamically just work together. And we work together through the month that we're not together, sending each other music and adding ideas, and sending lyrics or vocalizing or calling each other, video chatting, things like that. So, and it's been working ever, this whole time. So it is a slower process, I would say, if unless you were to just have everybody just work on it 2 or 3
Yeah,
times a week.
that's
But it still
crazy.
works for us because everybody is very dedicated, very loyal to do what we're doing and believes in this project. So yeah, it's they're amazing people, and I'm very humbly proud to have them a part of this.
That's insane. That's crazy. I mean, you have bands out there who have issues practicing once a week and they live in the
Yeah,
same city, much
right.
less,
Yeah.
in different states, honestly. So kudos to you guys. So why did you decide to add another guitarist? It just a fuller sound, or just you just felt like the musically it just was the right fit, or
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
like there's so much that we do. I mean, our genre of what we do. I mean, if you've listened to the Seven Deadly Sins, it can go from just a really beautiful slow song to
mhm,
hardcore in your face. The
yeah,
dynamics of like the melodies that you can do with having the sustain of the rhythm plus an overlap of a solo, or even having two guitarists like Dylan. There's both of the guitarists are so humble about how well they play, which I love about them. But at the same time, um, they're able to harmonize with each other, do all kinds of really cool aspects that you just wouldn't be able to necessarily duplicate if you're just single. I mean, there are, like loopers that you can get and things like this, but having two minds is, I think, way better. It's kind of like the writing process now, versus before. Now I have so many amazing writers,
yeah,
in music. And before, it was very difficult because not everybody really knew how to make that song. They could maybe start a riff or something like that, but um, I was my producer, my music producer, actually calls me the co-producer, and the band members understand this
yeah.
because he'll send me something just kind of raw because he already knows I'm sending him a 3-page report. Okay, at 01 to 03.
Yeah, right.
So, but I love that.
That's funny.
I love that he works with me that way. I think it's great. So yeah, shout out to Bullet Ride Productions. Dustin, you're amazing. I love you.
That's awesome. Well, very, very cool. So I'd like to kind of like, well, obviously the sisters. Um, And so, okay, I'd like to kind of go around and get some of the backstory too. As you guys grew up, did you all come from musical families? I mean, did you grow up knowing that you wanted to sing, knowing that you wanted to play bass guitar? Were you in bands in high school or grade school, or were you,
Marching band.
you know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously. Like, honestly, did you have like parents who were in rock bands or whatever? Tell me the story.
Go ahead, Beth.
Go ahead, Beth. Yeah.
Well, I mean, our mom was a music teacher, and
Oh.
that would be really cool if we could say she was a big rock star or something like that. It'd be very cool. But
She's out.
she is a rock star, just a different value.
Sure.
But yeah, it's been our whole life. Everything. We were all in choir when we were growing up. We all played different music instruments. I started young on the violin, and then moved to the bass, like upright bass, and then I started picking up the piano. And next thing I know, I was like trying to write things and create things, and I would bring them to Raven, and I'd be like, "This is what I heard with this. What do you think?" She's like, "Oh, I really like that. Why don't you try this instead?" And so, even when we were young, I think we were collaborating. It just was the way things were, but nothing really came to fruition until much later in life, and
Yeah.
because we had families and babies and all of that kind of gets in the way a little bit, and then as you start to make a bucket list of the things you want to accomplish in life, it's like, okay, well, let's go back to the drawing board and let's do this. Let's just do it. So
Yeah, I think that you started like what? Yeah, I think you were like, I don't know, 6 or 7, or how old were you when you started playing piano?
yeah, I was about 7 when I started playing piano, and then when I took violin, it was when I was in middle school. So
Yeah. Yeah, I started playing when I was like 3, and then I was like composing my own music around 6 or 7. And
Oh,
then
wow.
I was rewriting Mozart and Beethoven. My mother was my music teacher on piano. She couldn't be for very long though, because I would frustrate her because I was rewriting the works, and she's like, "That's not how it goes." And I'm like, Apparently, this is what she told me. I told her was they're dead. I'm finishing their work. I was young.
Oh gosh.
I know
You're
that's so
so
brutal.
humble.
That's so brutal. But,
That's amazing. That's amazing.
but
As far as me, like I said, I grew up in siblings that listened to hard rock and metal. Played tuba in high school, like the low brass and the bass part of instruments. And when I started going to concerts, I remember the first concert I went to was in '96 with Ozzy, Biohazard, and Sepultura. And
Oh my
first
gosh.
show ever took me to, and I looked up like, dude, I want to fucking, excuse me, I want to be up on stage. That's what I want to do.
Yep.
And this is about when I was 16 years old back in '98. I got my first couple CDs, which was the Aerosmith, Get a Grip, and the Metallica, Master of Puppets, and then I heard Orion and Cliff Burton. I just kind of like I said, change the world for me, because if a bass player can do that, then bass can be at the forefront, where it's mostly in the background, it's not given the credit is due. You know what? I want to do that. Like I said, I've been playing bass for 26 years. I got the music bug, and I never stopped. So
That's awesome. That's so cool.
yeah, so I think just in general, like with every one of us, we had some type of musical influence in our lives. Whether it be
Yeah.
family members or just another band that really. And that's the cool part about what we do now, is that we all came from different ways of life growing up, but at the same time, all of those influences we put into this now. I cannot wait for you to hear this new album. It is so next level, Waking the Sleeper, and it's so good. Which it's a really cool concept, because like the first album was Seven Deadly Sins. It was a concept album. It was like living
Okay.
life daily through that journey of the good and evil, right? Um, And this one is literally about frequencies, about all the like the solfeggios. Originally, there was 9. They cut 3 of them out. So this has all the solfeggios. It's all the good frequencies, the healing frequencies, and um, there's a lot of really cool things to know about frequencies. There's a lot of meaning in it. Just like the standard tuning used to be in 440. Well, it is in 440. Sorry, it was in 440, which is I don't know if you know this, but the history on it, it's not, primarily it was based off of in the late 30s, early 40s was changed. It used to be 432 hertz, and then it was changed to 440. Do you know who did that?
I don't know any of this history. Tell me.
Germany. Germany.
Who?
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, they did it for mind control.
Holy cow.
Do what?
Wait,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
So, okay, now that's interesting.
So,
I'm like,
That is
what?
interesting.
What?
yeah. So that's why I really focus like very if you've listened to the Seven Deadly Sins, the very last song
Yeah.
is Last Rites. And that is set in the tone of 432, which was the original. That is the Earth's frequency, the healing frequency. And so I did that on purpose, but not on purpose, if that makes sense. I didn't know what my next album was going to be about, but it fits it's the whole process now fits perfectly with us doing this whole album about
Totally.
frequencies. So it's just kind of a
Really
cool
interesting segue.
continuation. Yeah.
Yeah. That is interesting. That's very clever.
Thanks.
Very clever. That's very clever. I'm like, wow, well, hello. Look at me having super smart musicians on my show here. This is awesome.
So yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to it, and we're going to be doing some really fun, cool ideas inside the digipack on the CD as well, for a lot of people to, um, I guess, translate. They'll be able to see kind of like read between the lines kind of thing, to see kind of where's this going. And I like being mysterious about certain things. I don't like to just
Yeah.
put it completely out there. So I just think that'll be a lot of fun for a lot of fans to figure out.
Yeah. So I make that joke because a lot of times I feel like metal and rock musicians get that kind of stigma where they're just like, oh, it's just crap music, it's just noise, blah 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 blah. But I find that many, if not most, if not all, metal and rock musicians are very clever. They're very smart. Most are classically trained or, have roots based in classical music.
Mm.
And when you really break down a lot of these, especially original music, when you really break it down, most of it's very clever. So
Mm.
very, very cool stuff. Very cool stuff.
Yeah.
I'm eager to hear the new album. So.
Yeah, we're definitely eager to finish it. We're going back into the studio in November to finish everything up, and then it's set to be released somewhere at the end of June, or excuse me, February of 25.
Okay.
So we're already working on a couple of tours for next year, to market that album out and things like that, and get around the country. We're just trying to make it all fit right and know for sure where we're going. And we've been trying to get onto a couple other bigger festivals for this next year. I know that Sonic Temple is one of them we've really been directing towards, because there's been a lot of our fans have been naming us because they just put that question out there, who would you like to see? And we were supposed to play at Blue Ridge Rock Festival. We were there. We were supposed to open up on the main stage Sunday, but most people already know Saturday and Sunday got canceled. And so we were so
Yeah.
sad because we were going to open up for like Bad Omens, Chevelle, and Limp Bizkit. There was going to be,
Oh man, that would have been money. That would have been
yeah, the Lamb
amazing.
of God was on the stage next to us. I mean, it would have been phenomenal. It would have been amazing. But we still had a lot of fun. Still met a lot of fans, and still put ourselves out there and had a good time. But
Yeah.
it was a crazy time. So to be able to get a few of the bigger festivals next year would be awesome, to kind of allow a lot of these people who haven't been able to see us like that. And you think about it, like with bigger festivals, then a lot more people can see you that have been wanting to see you, and the sound is just
Yeah.
incredible. As a band, you're hooked. Like you're hooked
Oh
to play
yeah.
these festivals because it's just the sound is so great.
So they just have
So
it dialed in for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something like Milwaukee Metal Fest. I mean, you guys would be so good there.
I
I would
should
be
I
like,
should apply
Do
for that.
that one.
I should apply for that. I haven't done it yet, but
Mhm.
I think if we can make like a North American tour or something like that, go up that way, that would make sense. If so I'll have to hit up Milwaukee and say, okay, the fans want to know, can we play? Because if we can't play, we can't go up there and they can't see us.
Yeah, totally. No, seriously. There's a couple. I mean, there's a couple of really good metal bars. I mean, like really, really, really good metal bars.
Yeah,
In the Wisconsin and like Minnesota area. So if you guys come up this way, I think you guys would do
yeah.
really well up here.
Yeah,
So with the
I've been
right
wanting to
foot.
get it that way so bad.
Hmm.
In fact, when we first started in 17, I was supposed to play in New York, Poughkeepsie, New York, which is pretty far up there. And
Yeah,
that
yeah.
whole show fell through. But man, that would have been amazing because like we were going to be playing like with Hatebreed and it was going to be
Oh
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, Hatebreed. Yeah.
Hmm.
So,
That would have
so
been
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I hope you guys really, man. Yeah, there are so many. It's really refreshing. I don't know. And I know they were out there like 10 years ago or whatever, but I feel like in the last couple of years, especially maybe post COVID,
Mm.
um, the metal festivals really have made a bit of a resurgence, in my opinion. Or maybe it's just they've just gotten more advertising. I don't know. Maybe more people are online. I don't know what it is, but I feel like I've seen more of the metal festivals out there, which makes my heart very happy.
Yeah, me
So I
too.
think there's a lot of opportunity for up and coming bands or bands that have not necessarily been struggling, but have really just been playing to their markets to branch out to other markets and really get their music out there for potential like diehard fans. Like I don't even know how I came across because I listen to so much music all the time constantly because I work from home and I have no
Right.
kids, so my cats are the only ones that keep me company. So I listen to constant music, So, so there's always, whether it's Spotify or YouTube or Facebook recommendations or something, and you guys are just in the genre that I love, and
Mm.
there's so many bands out there that I wish would get just more recognition and tour more, which is obviously in this day and age, it's not like it used to be where you guys would make $1 bazillion off of record deals and album sales. you know,
Right.
so
Right.
selfishly as a
It's
fan, I
hard.
wish you guys would. I know.
Yeah, it's really, really difficult to tour now. I have me and a lot of band friends, we talk about this and the sad part is that a lot of the bands today that set up like their tours and play at like not venues but the bars, they're getting paid the same as what they would have in the 80s. So put that in perspective. It's like what you're doing is you're coming home just trying to make it even to where you didn't
Yeah,
lose money. You know what I
right.
mean? So
I
it's very
do.
difficult and yeah, and your bread and butter is honestly your merchandise, you know? And that's hard to build because if you're not making the money from the music per se, because a lot of people are, and I've been guilty of it in my past, I'm just gonna admit it, but like stealing music and just downloading it.
Yeah,
Um, if you're not purchasing the CDs from the band, they're not making anything.
right. Well, and
So
I mean, even but who I don't even own a CD player anymore. I,
do you not?
I don't. I don't. I don't even have a disk drive in any of my laptops anymore. Like it's just such a everything's streaming these days, and the way they fuck
Yeah,
you guys over, it's horrible. But I can't help it. That's how I listen. I listen to Spotify. It's how I find new bands and stuff. You know, and I do. I always, I spend so much money. It's ridiculous on shirts I don't even wear half the time. But it's because I feel like, because I want to support the bands. And that's how I know you guys are making most of the cash that cover the gas money for you guys to come, that provide
Right.
me such amazing entertainment on a Thursday night or whatever it is.
Right.
So
Well,
it is interesting.
Yeah, one thing too, I think that like I've seen a few other people talk about this, and because they loved my idea. I said the one thing we should do when we're on the road is provide like some kind of bundle deal that just couldn't get online. Like, like a
Oh,
concert see-through backpack that's, to the standards, with like a t-shirt, a CD, a signed poster, maybe
neat.
some other gift in there, maybe even a written letter, something like that. Um,
Guitar picks.
yeah, or even
Right.
having like a download where they could listen to a new piece of music nobody else could hear.
That's
Something like that.
interesting. Right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that, even the personalized letter. That's so neat.
Well, I mean, like everybody that's on, and that's another. I'm ADHD, just so you know, so I'll go from scroll,
It's
scroll,
okay.
scroll.
It's okay.
Um,
Sorry.
but there's a lot of people out there that, with like the fans and things like that, that with your pages, some of those, a lot of bands have bought their fans or their likes, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's just a disservice to you. It's just a disservice, because when you go and, okay, let's say you have 15,000 likes or 20,000 likes on your Facebook page, and then you go and you play a show and 6 people show up, your promoter's going to look at you and go,
Yep.
The hell's
But
going on?
most of the time, a lot of these bigger industry people, they can tell. They can tell. Like, if
Yeah.
you make a post and you've got 15, 20,000, and there's only 6 people who liked your post, something's wrong here.
Yeah. 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 You're
So,
not
but
wrong
going
there.
back to the
Yeah.
personal letter, that's what I was trying to get to. Like, I know probably almost every single fan that's ever liked my page. I've had some kind of conversation with them. I met them, or some kind of interaction with them, um, to know who they were. But I think as a band, that's your job. Like,
Yeah.
for them to know that they care about you, you should care about them. And I
Right.
know that gets even more difficult the bigger and bigger you get. But at the same time, as long as you're trying to make those efforts and you're trying to tell because you wouldn't be where you are as a band if it wasn't for your fans.
Right. Okay, I probably shouldn't say this on the air, but I'm gonna anyway because I don't care. So in April, like Firewind is one of my all-time favorite bands, like forever and ever and ever, right? And we drove down to Chicago, and they were there with Edge of Paradise and Immortal Guardian, and we did the meet and greet with Firewind. And I don't really do meet and greets that much. I'm not like that guy that stands out in the rain to get a
Right.
picture with some, you know what I mean? I just don't. I just like the music or whatever. But I was like, oh, it's neat. And then for my boyfriend's birthday, I was like, hey, he's a guitarist. And I'm like, hey, Gus G is doing this like guitar lesson. Do you want a guitar lesson with Gus G for your birthday? And he's like, oh my God, yeah. And I was like, okay. But then I'm like, well, what am I going to do for an hour? So Edge of Paradise was like doing meet and greets with them too. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just pay for the meet and greet and go have a meet and greet with them while you do your, whatever.
Right.
And I'll be honest with you, the Firewind meet and greet was so disappointing.
Really?
It was like 30 seconds. They barely even spoke to us. I was so excited to meet Herbie, and it was so disappointing. And it's
Oh,
just
wow.
because it's probably because they're just busy and they're like probably have done it a million times and they don't. But the Edge of Paradise folks were they were like my favorite band after that. You know what I mean? Because they really, like you said, they just took so much time. It
Mhm.
meant a lot to them that the fans
Yeah.
would pay $150 to spend a half an hour with them. You know what I mean? It really did. And they were just wonderful. And I
Yeah.
was like, I wish, like I said, like I've only done one meet and greet before that, and it was with Machine Head. And my experience with them was incredible. And it was the same thing. They went and made sure they spent time with each and every person, and I guess I assumed all meet and greets were like that. I guess I was wrong. It doesn't matter. It was fine. I still got cool pictures with them, whatever, right? But the Edge of Paradise, it was just so, and the Immortal Guardians too, they were just so thankful. And I feel like those kind of interactions with bands that will stick with me forever. I bet you I spent $500 that day on merch and stuff like that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
you can feel
Yeah.
the genuineness of them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I just wanted to support them because they made me feel like I was important to them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if I can't buy CDs at Best Buy, to support, well, then make me want to support you in another way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if that means making me a part of your family or whatever, give me the
Right.
warm and fuzzies. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, that's so important. And I think some bands forget that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like it's something else too that like a lot of bands forget, especially now, is that it's not just about your fans. Like support other bands too. Like
Yeah.
Very much so.
yeah, like we have an amazing band over on the East Coast that I've been talking to this girl for I don't even know, 5, 6 years now. We've been watching each other grow. We kind of were at the beginning of both of us starting, and she was a little more ahead than I. But the band is Dying Oath. And you might know her because it's kind of on the East Coast. But Mindy's amazing. And I love her. And same thing like Raven Black. I mean, we've talked too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so like,
Yep.
there's this camaraderie about each other, and when we see somebody's success, we applaud it, we put it out there. If we're rising each other up, because we as bands, we don't care what label you're attached to, we don't care whatever. But if you're rising and you're not, quite there yet, but you get these amazing offers, just like Minnie just got to play Louder Than Life. I was so happy for her, and so
Yeah.
having those accomplishments, I want to celebrate with her. I want to share it with the
Right.
world. Look what she's doing, and she does that with us. So I think that that's something that a lot of bands lost for a few years. I see it coming back more, which is great.
Me too.
But
Me too.
I want to see not just the appreciation for fans, but the appreciation for other bands
Yeah.
and
100%
podcasts.
agreed.
With what you do, because things like with what you do, there would be a fan that watches you that becomes a new fan of ours that never
Oh,
would have
yeah,
known. You know what I mean? So, it's appreciating everybody involved that's helping us all do this together.
for sure. It's not like it used to be where you guys were vying for like number one on the billboards. I mean, I understand that stuff is still like important or whatever, but it's not like it used to be where that meant that it was the difference between $1 million deal or not. I feel
Right.
like it's not the same industry today as it
No,
We
was.
just want to
it's
be heard
20
on
years
the
ago.
radio.
Yes.
Right,
Radio.
right, exactly. You just want people to hear your music, buy your merch, get to know you guys. I think you guys have a really good, well, your music is really awesome. I see you guys, the stuff you post on social media. I don't know how I wasn't following you because I host like 5 shows. So
I just started the TikTok not too long ago. I've been a little slow
Okay.
on getting socials up there.
It's
I'm like, I got Facebook. Why do I have to do all these other socials?
I know. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. Trust me.
But yeah, we have all the socials. We have the TikTok and the Instagram and the X.
Mhm.
And man, I wish there was just one button and like you post something and it just goes to all of them. But, I mean, you could take you to one post and go to a couple of them, but yeah, it's a
I
lot of
know
work.
it's a lot of work, right?
I know. I
People
don't know how
even know.
some of these people, they're like 3 or 4 times a day. I see them on there. I'm like, how?
And kids and stuff. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
I'm like, Jesus, it took me everything just to get out of bed and brush my hair. I don't even know.
totally.
Okay.
Right. Well, I love the attitude of the band. I think that you guys have a really great attitude. You guys have a really solid product that you're producing
you.
here. So I
Thank you.
got just, man, fingers crossed that everything goes really, really well over the next 20, 30, 40, whatever years,
Right.
Seriously.
Thank you.
So,
Thank
okay.
you.
So the new album comes out End of
End of
February.
February. Yeah, end of February, 1st of March, maybe. But that's kind of the tentative date as of right now.
All right, and then hopefully we'll see a tour coming up then March, April, May-ish.
Yeah, we're looking at like the end, probably the 1st of April. That's kind of what we're starting in to probably Texas. You could spend 2 months in Texas. It's so big. I mean, for me.
Yeah.
But we had
3 months.
we had in 2020 a full tour scheduled. And so basically a lot of these people are hitting me back up saying, hey, can we get you back now? So we're going to see about trying to gather. Some of these bars are closed, which is really sad. 2020 knocked out a lot of our venues around the country. So
Closed because of COVID. Some in Houston and San Antonio. I was like, yeah, blame it.
yeah, really, really sad stuff to see that happen. But at the same time, that there's other venues that have opened that are new. So it's just trying to find out exactly where everything is now and what's changed, and just making it all happen. So it is a little different now, and you have to
Mhm.
you know just put all your and one of the things too that we did, you were talking about like the meet and greets too. um I did this before and I think it worked really well, and I'll probably maybe try to do it again for a few shows. But we did a Q&A meet and greet acoustic set. So we
Oh,
did it
that's cool.
we did like sort of before the show. So they would come, they would get like a little bundle deal of like a t-shirt, a CD, a poster signed, something like that. And then probably a car sticker with it or something like that. And then we would do like 3 or 4 acoustic songs. And then in between the songs, we would talk to them and, have them ask questions or whatever. And just did it that way. Anyway, it worked really, really well.
That's so cool. See, and those are clever ideas that make you stand out from other bands and other experiences so that, and I mean, I know people who literally they live for meet and greets. They live for the 8 seconds that they get to stand next to Dave Mustaine and get that photo and go on for $500. And if that's your jam, that's your jam. I'm not poo-pooing anybody. You know what I mean? Honest to God, I think that's wonderful. But if you can stand out from the crowd and really in 20 years have somebody look back and be like, man, yeah, I did a lot of meet and greets, but you know what one was the most amazing one?
Mm.
And you're really doing something
Yeah,
right.
and
Honestly.
ours is really, really, really cheap. I mean, like, just to get a T-shirt, a CD, and a poster, and a sticker, car sticker, you would think that you pay like I don't know, $60 or something. But we did our meet and greets for like $50, and you
Oh
got
my
the
God.
acoustic and the Q&A. So, we don't and this was kind of one of the things that I'm I've told like even the band this is that no matter where we go, remember our fans are the most important thing to us.
Yes,
I
we
mean,
are.
I understand that they still got to pay for the products. We still got to recoup that. But for us, we're singing to them basically for free. And it's kind of our way of giving back to them. Thank you for liking who we are. Thank you for being a part
Supporting you.
of our band and our family,
Yeah.
so building us up, talking about us, things like this. I mean, so for me to be able to give them that and then sing to them, talk to them, that's a gift to me. I know it feels like it's a gift to them, but it's a gift to me, to be able to know
Great
how much they,
attitude.
you know.
Honestly,
So
that's a great attitude. That's
it-
so cool, you guys. Well, tell me if you could play one place next year while you're out on tour, like one venue, where do you think it would be? Like, where would be your bucket list venue? And we'll keep it like within the continental USA.
okay,
Because I
okay.
mean
I
everybody
heard
says
your
fucking,
mind. Mine's Sonic Temple. So,
oh, all
Sonic
right.
Temple. I'm reaching out to you, Sonic Temple.
Right? We'll have to tag them when I post this.
Machine Shop in Michigan. I've always wanted to play there.
Really? Okay. That's awesome.
It's on my bucket list. We almost got to do it once, and it was a conflict as far as the timing, but we talked about at one point we were going to play Whiskey a Go Go, and I know that
Oh,
that's on my bucket list.
oh, that'd be slick.
Mm-hmm.
Might have a few friends out there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna tag all these fuckers when I post this up. I'm gonna be like, you guys gotta listen at minute, whatever it is. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Very cool.
Yeah, my big thing is the festivals right now. Like, and I think it's just because when you get a taste of that and you do those, you realize how many people you can reach. You know what I mean? It's so much more than just a tour, and by doing that, that's been my focus. I still want to do the tours, obviously, reach as many states as I can. And that's the harder part too for bands because like in our position right now, like we're climbing up this hill, and we're not at the top. So for us, all of us still work, right? We still have normal jobs. So to do a tour is taking away from our normal jobs. We've got to be able to still try to make something recoup. Man, I tell you, it's way more difficult, it seems today than it was, you know, back even 15, 20 years ago. So
Yeah, I get it.
Industry has changed.
Well, it is. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Well, this has been a lovely conversation with you guys, and I have very much enjoyed this afternoon. Why don't you tell the listeners where they can find out more about you, social media, and your website, and all that good stuff?
Okay. Well, mainly the main platform that we're on is Facebook. You can always reach me through Facebook. It's at Waking the Sleeper. Just check it out on Facebook and you'll be able to find us. We have Instagram, still the same, Waking the Sleeper. X, I guess it's called. I still find that weird to say X.
I know. I just call it Twitter all the time, and people are
Twitter,
like, "You mean X?" Whatever.
right?
Old.
We have
Me alone.
we have a TikTok. And of course, you can find all our music on all the platforms. We are actually, that is something I should say real quick. We just recently got signed with Sony Orchard, which is awesome.
Oh,
So we're available on all streaming platforms. And you can go find our merch and our CD through wakenthesleeper.com. And you can get on our email list as well. And we can send you like new things that people won't know before you'll get the skinny and the head scoop on things. So
awesome. I'll be sure to sign up. I love newsletter lists.
right.
So I do. I don't check Facebook every day, but you know what I do check every day is my email. So
Right.
all right.
Label too. Thank you so much, Rock Avenue.
Yes. Very cool. I will, of course, link to all this in the show notes when I do publish this episode. Thank you guys. I will definitely let you go, and I will let you know when this
Thank
is
you.
live.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.